you a night owl? Then Late Night Love is a place for you. Since life is negative enough, here we discuss everything love. What we love, who we love, and why we love. So join us on Saturday nights at 11:30 p.m. Pacific Time, and please remember, love everybody. And welcome, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. I'm Jazz. Lubby's over behind the laptop, and we're here today to talk a bit about mindfulness and everything. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me turn this thing off so we don't get loud. Yep, we're very professional over here. We are very professional. We take care of all these sound issues before we turn the microphone on because we're very professional. Okay, so our show starts at 12:09 a.m.
We need to fire the intern.
Is that a Thursday night? Is that a Thursday night show or a Friday morning show?
I'd say it's a Friday morning. No, it's a Thursday night show because I'm still up. I haven't gone to bed yet, so it's not morning.
Well, I'm just saying it's freedom. That's why we start the things at 11:30, so I didn't have to make this decision. That's why we do the normal show at 11:30, so I don't have to make these decisions.
See, the truth comes out. I had no idea why you picked that time.
Yeah, because I actually wanted it at like 12:30, but I didn't realize. So screw it. I'm going at 11:30, which might be better.
Well, I'm glad.
Well, so it's a late night, overnight show. I figured we were trying to get the night owls, and actually 11:30 might not be late enough.
Oh, well, we'll see from this one, maybe.
Well, no, we won't go long enough. We're only going to go to 12:30, 12:45. We're not even planning an hour.
Okay.
And yes, hi everybody. How you guys doing? We're not having a conversation with you guys sitting here. Welcome back to all the stuff we should have done before we turned on the camera. No, I'm just playing. You're all part of tonight's fun-filled event because we are talking about mindfulness, self-care, and how all that relates into relationships and love and loving yourself, your community, your friends, and your family. And it was kind of brought to me about by we don't talk politics here, so we're just not going to start, but we are going to talk kind of around politics, kind of the life of a politician, or at least a small party politician. Because we live different lives than major politicians. You get so many people who look up to you, who expect a lot from you, and it can feel overwhelming. And if you're a younger person who doesn't have the life experience to put all this into perspective, it can be even more of a weight than someone like myself who's old and crotchety, and the world can go take a flying if they don't flying leap if they don't like what I'm doing. That's their problem, not mine. But when you're young and you're trying to make your way in life and you're trying to become something, and your community has turned to you because they see something in you, and you start to question what they see in you, because it's a long road. It's a long, hard road on the campaign trail. It's a long, hard, exhausting. You've got crisis of confidences come by. Am I the right person? Do I have the right skills? Am I in over my head? Even the best of us, and I'm not one of those, have those questions. And so those of us who are new to the game or who are inexperienced, those kinds of things can weigh on you. And then you add that to the modern times and just normal life of a human being trying to get through life in a normal life, and you're getting through all this because most of us aren't career politicians. We've got other things to do, other things going on, other ways to make our way through life. It becomes very difficult for us to kind of put in perspective. And it must be hard for those who don't have a spouse, a partner, a life partner to kind of lean on in those dark times. Who do you lean to? Who do you lean on? I have someone to go home and lay down and poke You quite literally poke at night when I need to get.
Yes, you do.
You know, if I.
That's your love language. That's your love language.
Well, that's one way. It's
But
I'm.
we do other things. We joke, we talk.
Yes, but I have some way to keep me grounded, to kind of.
Oh, well, thank you, honey. I'm so glad it helps. It does me too.
Yeah, because we've talked about this before, that being a political spouse is not an easy task.
We talked about it with Lady Wildstar, yes.
Yeah, it's a difficult, and she's
With
got to deal with.
Crystal.
Yes, and she has to deal with the perennial candidate. I can't imagine what that's like with Nicholas. He's such a outgoing, ever going, you know, man, and he's always running for something. He's always trying to improve his community, and he goes against the grain for his skin color, shall we say. He doesn't say always the things that people expect of him, so he takes fire from all kinds of sides, but yet he's out there still doing it, and that's a tremendous weight for someone who loves you. Have to go watch you do that, watch you go through all that.
Yes, yes.
Watch the arrows come, and
I can't imagine.
Yeah, so you don't have to pay attention to arrows, because I'm not outgoing enough. I don't cause enough waves. I don't upset people because I break narratives. If you want to talk about white privilege, that's technically a white privilege right there, is that I can speak whatever political position I want, and no one, it's perfectly acceptable. But people of color aren't allowed to have different political positions. Sorry for going through to politics on that, but that's hard. And you have to really love your community, and have a strong support system to be able to manage that.
Yes.
And so, some of these younger kids who are out there trying to do tremendous freaking work for, and they have this whole world coming down on them. They're getting ignored when they've done more work than their opponents. They deserve more recognition than the media is going to give them, and it's disheartening. And, taking care of themselves emotionally. They don't often take the time to take care of themselves emotionally. And it's not just politics. This happens in any career where people get focused on trying to obtain their careers or obtain their goals. They get lost. And if they don't have someone to help keep them on track, and that's kind of what a partner does, a spouse, a partner.
Yes.
They help you, keep you on track when life, keep you centered. No, you're just having a crisis of confidence. We understand it, but people trust you because they see something in you. They see a responsibility to your community. And sometimes it's hard to trust other people, when you can't trust yourself. Say when you're feeling down about yourself, and you have to trust other people to have that confidence in you, and you have to trust their confidence in you to keep going. And say, I'm not feeling confident. I'm feeling too small for the task at hand. But these other people support me.
Yes, they do.
They see something in me. They like what I'm doing. They want me to continue because I'm providing some type of value to them, to the community. And it's a strange thing to have your community ask you to take on a difficult task. It's a very strange thing. It's an honor, and you get humbled by it, because you look at your mirror and you go, how the hell did me? Seriously? How did this fall on me? But at the same time, it fell on you because people in your community think you have something to offer.
Yes.
They find that you have something they look up to. Because people like me don't get asked because we attack other people. It's not what we do. We talk about what we want to accomplish. We don't talk about, well, we try not to. We are human. We have our moments. But let's not pretend we're some perfect human beings here. We make our efforts to be as kind and compassionate and sympathetic as we can. But there are times when people get under your skin and you become a human being for a few minutes. And there's people who do that easier than others. Luckily, my opponent isn't one of those on a general rule of thumb, so I don't run the risk of delving into a negative politics. I'm not too tempted.
That's not your style.
No, I wouldn't sleep well if I did that. But politics can make you do things that you don't want to do if you're not careful.
The slippery slope.
Well, it's not even just a slippery slope. It can feel very personal. And you can become very defensive. And when a human being becomes defensive, you can behave in ways you don't want to. And that in retrospect, you will not like yourself for. But you won't notice that until a month later. And, that's the problem when it's too late to do anything about it. And so I personally very, very careful and very mindful about what I do and what I don't do. I don't always live up to my expectations, but I have high expectations. So other people go, "What are you talking about?" And so, but having those high expectations keeps me from becoming something I don't want to do. I don't want to be. A high ethical standard is essentially the same way. It's not that you're going to maintain your high ethical standard. You can't. But the effort keeps you from making the big, huge mistakes. You make relatively small ones. You make ones that other people don't see as mistakes. But that's the good thing. You're catching yourself before you do something dumb. You're always, and it's not hard once you get used to it. Because it's not a punishment when you make one of those, make a small, what is in the grand scheme of things, a small ethical lapse or a small something you were, not even ethical lapse necessarily, just something you personally wish you would have handled better.
Yes.
It's not, other people you can tell other people exactly, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, but I was thinking the wrong thing. And so it's that.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was thinking wrong. It wasn't actually what I said. I was overly mindful what I said. That's the problem. I was touching the ethical line that I didn't want to come close to. And I find that a problem. The problem is in today's world, we're not mindful enough of ourselves. We want everybody else to be mindful of their words, of their actions, of what they've done. But we don't want to be mindful of our own.
Well, that takes work. That takes work on the front end. I do meditation every day. And yoga. Yeah, I think yoga helps some. Some would say it's a form of meditation. For me, it's more glorified stretching. But it's still the mindfulness is there. That's how I start my day. And a lot of times I use a guided meditation app, and they talk about staying in the moment and letting the emotions come and go. And so rather than lash out, for instance, if I'm frustrated, I just keep it to myself, because it's not going to bring any peace and harmony. So why would I say it?
Yes, you'll do when you can have a more calm perspective on it. That's when you talk about it.
Yes. Come back later.
Yeah. It's not that you ignore what's going on. It's just you put it in perspective and say, okay, it's frustrating right now, but that's because X, Y, and Z. And in 6 hours, I'm still going to be annoyed, but not nearly as annoyed as I am now. And then we'll go deal with it.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not personal because there could be 100 things that are causing whatever the issues might be.
Sometimes I do just let things go, though.
Well,
Because they are actually petty and they don't really mean anything. They're just a minor annoyance to me. So,
well,
and I'm sure I caused one or two of those around here, so
well, of course, there's things
we
that
all work together,
where you go, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, the deep breath, whatever.
Whatever.
Is it big in the grand scheme of things? No,
It's
no.
really not. It's one of my little foibles.
It's not worth the effort that I just took to sigh, so we'll move on. I've really now just spent more time thinking about it than it's really worth spending. Why am I still thinking about it? Yeah, I love those. Those are great because then it's just you and it's all you. Yeah, those
banging around in my head.
Banging around in my head. Oh yeah, we spend enough time banging around in our heads, don't we?
I certainly do.
Yeah, well, that's why we're doing this. See, so we can bang around in our heads to other people. That needs to be our slogan. We bang around in our heads to other people. That's.
So, do you have a ritual that you do?
No, I just slip into a meditation. Sometimes, if I'm having trouble, I actually do one of these old school things.
Really?
Yeah. If I'm having trouble getting into meditation, I'll put the old school thing like this. But most of the time, I don't even have to close my eyes. It's just easier.
It is easier.
But I can actually do it with my eyes open, which is freaky. But because I'm not actually seeing anything. On days when I'm really good at it, and I haven't done that in a long time. I haven't worked that hard at it. You can actually kind of, it's almost stepping back, but you can see that you're not actually paying attention to anything that's coming into your eyes. It's just kind of blank. It only lasts for a second because the minute you start thinking about the stuff,
then it disappears.
Yeah, the minute because you've broken the concentration. But so it really only lasts for a second. Hey, I can't really see anything but this white blur. Oh man! Yeah,
that's pretty advanced, Ben.
But it only lasts for a second. But I break concentration easy, so I can get deep, but I break concentration easy. So it's.
I'm great in hypnosis. I don't want to come back out of hypnosis.
I've never done hypnosis.
I like it there. It's nice and warm and fuzzy, and everything's wonderful. Everything's at a distance. All the problems are at a distance. Everything's nice.
I've never done hypnosis.
I did for cigarette smoking. To quit smoking. I did it twice.
That might be fun just to do. I have to bring in someone in just to see if I can do it.
Oh, you can.
Well, some people can't, apparently. Some people can't.
I bet you can, because it's just a mild form of self-hypnosis. And
yeah, but my contrary ass.
I never did anything I didn't want to do.
No, I'm just saying I've never done it. It might be interesting to see.
Yes.
To think. I mean, in this kind of context, I wouldn't do it outside the show context because I'm not that interested. But in terms of the show and having kind of I might be interested in something like that.
That's very interesting. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah. No, it's strange. Well, we have to start lining up guests. It's just hard to do. How many different things I do. I have a podcast tomorrow to direct at noon. And then I had the thing earlier today. I've got the TV show recorded Monday. We've got our show tomorrow night.
Can you take me to Betty's on Saturday?
So I guess technically that's tomorrow. Or yeah.
Yeah,
technically tomorrow, I guess. Maybe. Yeah, but yeah, I usually schedule in. And then I've got an event Sunday.
Ooh,
Sunday morning.
things are heating up.
Yeah, it's the last few weeks.
The last couple weeks,
Yeah.
it's the push.
Yeah. Next 2-3 weeks will be a push, and then the last 2 weeks are a cruise because of the way mail-in voting goes now.
Okay.
And the push is the 3 weeks. The last 2 weeks is
Everybody's pretty much.
pretty much decided. You just want to make sure you're still there. You don't actually have to do much. People will be looking for you. Anyway, that's enough politics for the show. But the whole point is about being mindful and taking care of yourselves and your emotional and mental health, and being mindful about it. Because if you can't be mindful and take care of yourself, you can't help your loved ones, and you're not emotionally available for relationships. You kind of wall yourself off.
Yes.
And it's being mindful of where you are and your own mindset. And if you're having difficulty figuring out what the real problem is, because it's really the surface. How many times I've thought I figure something out, and then now it's deeper than that. Damn it. Yeah. It's not always. Sometimes it's simple, but if it's a big something is weighing on you heavy, it's rarely simple. Because if it was simple, you would have solved it already. Because you're generally too deep of a person to have not dealt with it soon enough.
By now.
Yeah. So
right.
If it's causing you great consternation, it's because you haven't wrapped your head around it. And if you haven't wrapped your head around it, it's usually complicated. Or you're overcomplicated. I suppose it's the other way around. You're severely overcomplicating something that's insanely simple and making it bigger than it is. But my guess is it goes the other way more often. Purely a guess. I'm no psychologist. Again, we are not psychologists or psychiatrists.
We're not psychologists. No, we are not professionals.
We're just old people with lots of experience. We've been through life's ringers a few times, and so we can give
our perspective,
pearls of wisdom and perspective.
That's our perspective.
Perspective on issues. So let's make clear, we're not even playing doctors on the radio. We're not even pretending. No, we're not even pretend doctors on the radio. We're just people who love people and want our communities and people to find a more comfortable way through life. And we try to do that. Okay, so let's see. We've got 23 minutes. Let's see. What do we want to do for the next 10 minutes or so?
Well, I'd have Trello open over here. I have you want to do something? You want to do a fun thing?
Well, sure. Let's end this thing on let's have a little bit of fun.
If you were a sandwich, what would you be?
If I was a sandwich, what would I be? Well, the only sandwich I really eat nowadays is meatball.
You're a meatball.
So I guess that would
You are a meatball.
It'd have to be a meatball sandwich. The only thing I can think of is a peanut butter and jelly, simply because despite the fact that I appear complex, I'm really not. Yeah, I'm a strange dichotomy, which is why it's peanut butter and jelly, because it looks simple, but jelly is a complex creation, and so is peanut butter. And so peanut butter and jelly, while it appears to be a simple sandwich, is actually quite complex. It
took a lot to get there.
Yes. Yeah. So there's a lot of pre-work that goes into getting to that simplistic peanut and butter and jelly sandwich, without even talking about the bread.
Right.
Because the bread's universal in sandwiches. So it's the internals.
Well, first you got to grow the peanuts.
Well, heck, I'm just talking about processing. I'm not even talking about the farmer part of it. Good Lord. I was skipping the farmer part, and just for simplicity's sake. I haven't even gone back that far. I was just talking about trying to, from jelly to from.
And how do you harvest those suckers? They must have a special, because they're like They're on the ground.
Yeah, I don't know. My guess is they just rip them up and the machine rips them apart. But that's what I would guess. But I don't know. Is it a plant them every year and are they leave some? Who the hell knows? We'd have. Hey, if you're a farmer out there, you know a farmer, contact us and tell us how the hell peanuts are grown.
Peanuts are
I mean, I could look it up, but we could watch a YouTube video. But it's more fun this way. it's more fun to have someone call me and tell me. I learned more than I would on a YouTube video. Well, it'd be more interesting anyway. So what about you? So, but now that I talked about the sandwich, I wouldn't be more than I talk about the sandwich I am. It's be a meatball sandwich because it's the only kind of sandwich I can eat at the moment because it's the only sandwich I know what it's supposed to taste like. Well, that and I'm a bit of a meathead, so then there's that part.
You are.
A meatball comedy. Yeah. What is it? MASH, the old days. Show you how old we are. We're going to talk MASH. The old meatball comedy, meatball surgery. No. We're meatball comedy. It's even worse. It is. It's even worse. Because I'm not funny at all, except in my own head. Right.
You're brilliant.
I'm brilliant in my own head.
No, you're freaking fast sometimes. For 3 o'clock in the morning, you are freaking fast, and you crack me up.
Yeah, but it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not entirely sure. Cracking somebody up at 3 o'clock in the morning means you're very funny. It just means it's late.
Doesn't mean you're not fast. You're sharp.
But I do have great hair, so there is that.
Well, yeah. The cost is I have to talk about your hair.
Well, yeah, so yeah. I make Fabio jealous.
But my sandwich would be the Danish open-faced shrimp sandwich.
Something complicated to order, of course you would.
It's complicated to eat, too.
Oh, good Lord, that's even worse. Hey, what is it with the open face? Open face is not a sandwich.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's a sandwich, but it's open face.
No, by definition, that's a pizza. It's not an open face sandwich. That's all open face sandwiches is like a pizza. It's like a pie. It's more of a pie than
no. You bake a pizza.
So you can bake a sandwich. You can bake a meatball sandwich.
Yeah, but it has 2 pieces of bread.
Exactly. It's a sandwich.
But by definition, open-faced. Open face.
Yeah, open face just means there's stuff put on a piece of bread.
Yes.
Yes, it's not a sandwich. Sandwich. Rich. Sand. Between.
Sand.
Sandwich. Which. You squish it. That's the point.
No.
Open face sandwich. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's not a sandwich.
It's open face.
All right, so now this is the big argument now. Is an open face sandwich a sandwich? We're going to have to ask our political
audience.
No, not our audience. You want to get an argument, we ask that in our political circles.
Ooh. Okay.
That'll be fun. It's like throwing in a stink bomb into a party with our political party. And you'll fight over everything. That's going to be hilarious to watch. I'm going to have to... We are not trolls, but sometimes you can have fun with your own friend. And of course, they're going to watch this at some point because a chunk of them do, and they're going to all find this hilarious because they know it's true.
Everybody will weigh in.
Well, when they did the convention, and I'm sorry for digging into politics, but it just is just funny. We're just kind of bull crapping here. But when they did the convention testing, it was, what was it? Is something a soup? No, it was a hot dog, a sandwich.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? Did they do that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, it's because they were testing the voting process and stuff, and so they had to test debates and all that kind of stuff. So they did this hot dog, a sandwich, or something like that, something goofy like that. But they got really all we'll argue over everything. Is that what color? Some shade of red or a different shade of red? And we'll argue over that thing. Yeah. You know they will. You've watched them. We've argued over where comma would go. That literally meant nothing. It didn't change anything, but they argued over whether the comma should be there or not for like a half an hour.
I remember that. I was there on my phone taking pictures.
It doesn't change either thing. Why are we still arguing about it? Children. Yeah, people. They get caught up in themselves and
Forget the big picture
and their perspective, and they forget what we're really there for. It's what's the phrase in the military? It's pilots. What's the phrase to use? It's they become fixated on the target and they lose situational awareness. Target fixation, and so they lose situational awareness, and they actually become dangerous to themselves and their squad because they're no longer paying attention to the bigger picture. They're trying to get their target.
Okay.
And so they lose. Yeah. They leave their wingman, or they go out of the whatever it is and become blinded, fixated on a target, and they lose the bigger picture and become a danger to themselves and their compatriots and the whole operation. And it's a very dangerous thing, as we can, in our lives and in how we manage the world and ourselves and our relationships. Becoming overly fixated on a single task, single goal, single issue is a danger. Becoming unbalanced, lose situational awareness of what's going on around you.
Yes.
Yeah. You forget that you're supposed to be protecting the flank. Your job isn't actually to go chase that guy off. Your job is to actually protect your wingman, or to protect the left side of your formation, and you're no longer there because you become fixated on a target that's no longer a threat. They try to train it out of pilots, but it's very human. It's a real thing. Anyway, so I think we'll kind of wrap that up tonight. You can catch us at latenightLove.us. You can go to anchor.fm/latenightLove and leave us a voice message, and we'll respond to you on the air. You can send me a message on Twitter at JazzRack, or you can email the Lovinator at love@latenightLove.us. And we can respond to you on the air if that's kind of the appropriate way. If you want to be a guest, contact our Facebook page or one of us on those methods, and we'll have a discussion. If you would like us to go be a guest, or I guess me, Lubby's not much one for guests, but we maybe coax her on there if there's no video.
If there's no video, I'll be there.
We may be able to coax around, but I'm usually the one who does appearances and that kind of thing. But for all of us, thank you for taking time on this Late Night Love special where we're, just needed to sit back and have a chat about life a little bit. It's a fractious world out there. You need to take the time to mind yourself, mind your relationships, and, be kind to your emotional and mental health. And your communities and your families need it right now more than ever. Good night, and please remember to love everybody.